Duel Overload will completely change the metagame. This 100 card booster set is giving us so many OCG imports as well as some critical reprints for budget players to be able to play at a competitive level. In this particular video, we're going to be going over the best imports as well as some amazing reprints inside of the set. So as always, if you guys want to see more videos like this, then make sure you destroy that like button and also let us know down below in the comment section what are some of your favorite cards inside of the set. Without further ado, let's jump on in. The first card we are going to talk about is actually a very powerful OCG import. Part Verte Anaconda is an amazing card. I don't know if I should call it Verte Anaconda or Verte Anaconda. I know it's not Spanish. I'm probably not even saying it right, but who cares at this point in time? Anaconda requires 2 effect monsters to be summoned, making it one of the more easier link monsters to place to your side of the field. Its effect loosely reads you can target one monster on the field and make it dark. I know what you guys are thinking, TheCaliEffect, that is the most amazing effect. I will give up 2 of my own effect monsters to make my opponent's monster, their chivalrous light monster, into a dark monster. That'll definitely get them. But fortunately for us, that's not the only effect that Anaconda does have. It also has another effect that loosely reads, you can pay 2,000 life points to send 1 fusion spell or polymerization from your deck to your graveyard, and this card gains that effect. That is amazing for the Yu-Gi-Oh card game, especially since we have a card in super polymerization at 3. The cool thing about Verte Anaconda is that it only gains the card's effect, meaning that if you are using super polymerization, you do not have to discard a card from your hand. If you combine that with its first effect, turning any monster dark, you have instant access to a Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, more often than not paying 2,000 life points and using both of your opponent's monsters. Anaconda can also send cards like Shut Off Fusion from your deck to the graveyard, and if your opponent controls a monster from the extra deck, then you can use cards from your deck. So it basically becomes a Foolish Burial or just a super polymerization generating board breaking card. Verte Anaconda just might be the best card in the set. Solomon Great All Mirage is a pretty good reprint inside of the Duel Overload set, mainly because it was already creeping as a $30 link monster inside of its original set. Its effects aren't as good as our Anaconda friend, but they're pretty good. It can be link summoned using a monster with 1,000 or less attack, and it can tribute itself out of the extra monster zone or wherever zone it's summoned into to prevent a monster from being destroyed for that turn. Now, that effect is a quick effect. You can use it to prevent your opponent from using cards like Lightning Storm on some of your more valuable monsters, but that's not where Solomon Great All Mirage shows its true value. Its true value is actually inside of its link summoning requirements. Getting monsters like Alistair the Invoker off of your field into the graveyard to place this card to your side of the field is where it gains tons of value. Not only do you get your Alistair to the graveyard, you supply it with another monster on your side of the field, and eventually that card can even make itself to the graveyard to be able to make an invoked Paragatrio. I think Solomon Great All Mirage is a perfect print for the Duel Overload set, even though they didn't get those invoked cards that we were hoping were in there for you guys. Crystron Hakala Foliage is a card that TCG players have been wanting for ages. Back when it was known as Crystron Needle Fiber in the OCG, it completely ran the Yu-Gi-Oh card game. This card was so powerful that other cards had to be hit on the Forbidden List just to keep its power in check. We're in a completely different card game, and Hakala Foliage won't be as strong, but still will be sought after. It requires 2 monsters, including a tuner. Kinda reminds me of that other mechanic in Yu-Gi-Oh that isn't too good. Wait, did I say it's not good on camera? And its effect reads, you can special summon 1 level 3 or lower tuner monster from your deck to your side of the field, but it cannot activate its effects. Furthermore, Crystron Hakala Foliage can tribute itself on the opponent's main phase or battle phase to special summon a synchro tuner monster from your extra deck to your side of the field. It's also treated as a synchro summon. Now by itself, Hakala Foliage does not seem like it's an overpowered card, but this is Yu-Gi-Oh! Where we can take some of the easiest, most simplest cards and turn them to busted creatures. Fortunately for us, cards like Summon Sorceress is banned, so I don't see Hakala Foliage running the meta, but I do see it as an integral part for decks that synchro summon. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good at all. I know what you guys are thinking. Callie is a synchro hater. That's not necessarily the case, but I do acknowledge that synchros are bad. Now, if you guys would like to see a video about this, go ahead and love this video. I mean, because you can't like it twice, share it with a friend, and of course, let us know if you want to see why synchros are trash. Cyber Emergency is one of the well-welcomed reprints by Cyber Dragon players, because this card was a mandatory card to have, but was out of a lot of players' budgets. Now they'll be able to get a second chance at copying one of the best cards that Cyber Dragon has in their arsenal. It allows you to add one Light Machine monster that cannot be normal summoned or set, or you can add a Cyber Dragon monster from your deck to your hand. Also, if this card's activation is negated, you can discard a card to add it back to your hand so you can use it again. Cyber Emergency is exactly what Cyber Dragon players need, especially if you're trying to build a Cyber Dragon deck on a budget, because let's face it, as much as we love this Yu-Gi-Oh card game, sometimes it can get rather expensive, and this card was really expensive for a card that wasn't that competitive right now. When I speak of Union Carrier, I will not mention that you can equip a Mist Valley Thunderbird to your Mist Valley Apex Avian, creating an infinite negation loop where your opponent won't be able to activate card effects. I just said it, didn't I? I wasn't supposed to say that. The truth of the matter is that Union Carrier is an insanely powerful card, but the fortunate thing is that it shines brightest in the most niche decks. Union Carrier requires 2 monsters with the same type or attribute to be summoned, and it allows you to target a monster on your side of the field and equip a monster from your deck to your side of the field to the monster's attribute or type that you're targeting. This is amazing for the said aforementioned Mist Valley deck because it can bounce Thunderbird to your hand on your opponent's turn, and then it can special summon said Thunderbird back to your side of the field. Union Carrier does have the restriction that you cannot special summon that monster for the rest of the turn, but it doesn't apply afterwards, which is pretty damn cool. Even though it does translate for other decks very well, I think that Union Carrier does an awesome job for the ABC archetype. This deck is actually a lot more powerful than people expect, and I can't wait to give you guys a live duel against one of the top contending decks inside of Master Rule 5. If you are a Cybers player that plays decks like Solomon Great, then you can rejoice because Signet Mining is getting another print. But you guys should have known this for quite some time now, seeing that it was one of the first cards announced. But Signet Mining isn't just for Solomon Great decks, there are also some other decent Cybers decks that can take advantage. Marine Cess will definitely benefit from this, seeing that the entire deck core is now under $100 with Signet Mining reprints, depending on where the Signet Mining's printing's price fall. And then there are also some other decks like Mathmech and Codec. I don't know these other decks. I'm not even gonna front with you guys. They're not good, so I don't pay attention to them. Selene, Mighty Master of Magic, is the perfect card for a struggling Endymion deck. It does require 2+ spellcasters to summon, but its effects are amazing. Its effects loosely read that when it is link summoned, you can place spell counters on your side of the field equal to the number of spell cards in the graveyard. Do you know how many spell cards are played in a turn? This card is phenomenal. Spell counters are the bane of Endymion's existence. Now, it's actually the reason why the strategy exists, but imagine having to activate cards before you activate your card effects. That's pretty much what counters do on Endymion. If they just could activate their effects at will, they'd be a lot better of a card, but unfortunately that's not the case. This is where our Mighty Master comes in, allowing you to play spell counters just for playing the deck. It's the reward that every player has been hoping for inside of playing a deck that restricts its own abilities. Infinite Impermanence has no need for an introduction. It is confirmed to be reprinted inside of the Duel Overload set. This is amazing for budget players, as Ultra Rare Infinite Impermanence from the previous set it was reprinted in have already dropped to $30. Infinite Impermanence is not the most amazing card right now, but it's definitely one of those staple cards that I feel every player should have. Traptrix Genis Leia is a head-turning card. Like, wow, this card is good. It allows you to tribute herself to be able to set a trap hole card from your graveyard and one from your deck. Now, if you guys did see the world premiere, you were probably thinking, okay, that's kind of slow, but it is huge for the Traptrix strategy, mainly because your Traptrix Sarah can trigger her effect off of Genis Leia, and you'll now be able to set 3 trap hole cards to your side of the field. And if you ever thought that it would be slow because you need a trap hole card in your graveyard, well, Sarah can trigger off of the trap hole card being activated activated to summon Genesis Leia to your side of the field. Now, before we move into a top reprint, I want to take this time to actually talk about the Otherworld Exclusive, because the Mayakashi one, we're not going to talk about that card. It's not good. Hollow Giants is amazing. Like, this card is boy. Its effect loosely reads that you can only activate if both players control a monster special summon from the extra deck. It proceeds to negate every monster effect that were special summoned from the extra deck, but if two monsters from the extra deck battle, this card is obviously destroyed, and then the player who activated the card takes 1,000 damage. Now, what happens when you activate this card and then you get rid of your card from your extra deck and you decide not to play any other cards from the extra deck? It becomes a one-sided walking skill drain that can negate the effects of all of your opponent's monsters special summoned from the extra deck. How would you tribute a monster from the extra deck? I mean, there's so many ways, but this card is completely amazing, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's probably the best card inside of the set, but of course, it might not even be the most sought after. If you guys do pull this card, I do see it as a card that will skyrocket depending on its price coming out. If players don't see it coming, then, I mean, it's an amazing card, but if you watch this video, you probably see it coming now. Well, that's pretty much it for all of the cards, the top reprints as well as the top imports. I know I missed some really good cards like the Relinquished Link Monster. I want you guys to post down below in the comment section what cards did I miss, as well as some amazing strategies that can be made from this set. I hope you guys are having a great day, like I am.